What's going on, you guys? It's Rahul here, back again with another video, and today I am continuing my top 10 players at blank position in the NFL in 2021. So before this video does get started, I do want to go ahead and shout out my podcast I recently started. If you guys aren't aware, I recently started a sports podcast with my good internet friend Vikram. So if you guys want to get more content from me, go ahead and check out the podcast. The link to it will be in the description below. And also, make sure to hit that like button if you guys enjoyed today's video, as it really helps out the channel. And also make sure to subscribe if you guys are new and enjoy this type of content, so you don't miss out on any new videos like this. Plus, we are on the road to 1,000 subscribers. And once we hit our goal, I am finally gonna do a face reveal. But without further ado, let's get this video started. And at number 10, we have Marcus Maye of the New York Jets. Marcus Maye, he was great last season, and he had a fantastic year. And unfortunately, it went under the radar, and he's mad underrated, to put it simply. Now, the reason why it went under the radar, I think it's pretty simple. He played for the New York Jets, and the New York Jets last season were the second worst team in football record-wise, and over the past few years have been one of the worst teams in the NFL, to put it simply. And even though I am a Patriots fan and I don't like the New York Jets, I do like Marcus Maye, and personally I think he is a great player. And last year he had 2 interceptions, 11 passes defended, 2 forced fumbles, and 2 sacks. And to make those stats even more impressive, his secondary and defensive help in general, it was not very good. Now, I am aware he is having contract disputes with New York, but next year if he continues to play at a level like this, he is going to get a big payday, whether it's from the Jets or some other team. But that's kind of all I have to say for Marcus Maye. And I mean, Marcus Maye, he's one of the most underrated players in the NFL. At number 9, we have Derwin James of the Los Angeles Chargers. Derwin James, unfortunately, he has really struggled with injuries over the past 2 seasons. His last year, healthy year, was in 2018, and he was amazing in that season. That's really what lands him here. You know, when he's on the field, Derwin James is one of the best safeties in the NFL. Now, if he's not in your top 10 due to the fact that, you know, he hasn't been able to stay healthy over the past 2 years, I can get that. But Derwin James was so good in his rookie season, and he's shown, you know, how good of a player he can be when he's on the field, to the point where I decided to put him here at number 9. And next year, if he can stay healthy and have another great season like he did in 2018, I guarantee you he is gonna rise on my list. And when he's healthy, you could argue that he's a top 5 safety. But because he has struggled with injuries, well, I'm not gonna include any stats here, but hopefully Derwin James does stay healthy, because I'm really excited to see him play, and I really want to see him stay healthy and get his career back on track. But at number 8, we have Budda Baker of the Arizona Cardinals. Budda Baker, earlier on in his career, was used way more on special teams, and he was one of the best special teams players in the NFL when he really played on special teams primarily. However, he's developed into one of the best safeties in the NFL. He's really good he's pretty good in coverage, and along with that, he can stop the run and rush the passer a little bit. So Budda Baker overall is an amazing player. Last season, he had 2 interceptions, 6 pass deflections, 2 sacks, and 7 tackles for a loss. And to make it even more impressive, I gotta say his defensive help was not exactly very good. Chandler Jones, he missed a majority of the year. Hassan Reddick had a good year. However, his defensive help was not amazing, especially his secondary help. And next year, if the front 7 can be elite, that's gonna help out the secondary a lot. And along with that, if the secondary can improve, that's gonna help out Budda Baker a lot, since he won't have to completely carry the secondary. Well, no offense to the other players, but he won't exactly have to be a one-man show on the secondary. And Budda Baker overall still a great player, and he's still really good on special teams. And I mean, don't disrespect special teams, it's really important. Trust me, do not disrespect them. But at number 7, we have Jon Johnson of the Cleveland Browns. Jon Johnson last year was amazing. He was absolutely awesome. He is one of the best coverage safeties we have in today's game, and you could say that he was snubbed from the Pro Bowl last year. He's great in coverage, as I said before, and that's kind of all there is to him. He's not amazing stopping, rushing the pass or anything like that, but he's still really good in coverage. Last year, he had 1 interception and 8 passes defended, and I will say that's not exactly, like eye-popping, mind-blowing stats, but he was really good last season, and he was a vital part of a defense that was the #1 unit in the league statistically. And Jon Johnson, he was fantastic, and I gotta say, I think Cleveland's defense, they are going to improve a lot, especially the pass defense, and I think Jon Johnson, he is going to be a massive part of it. And I gotta say, Jon Johnson, overall, he is an amazing player, and Cleveland fans, you got a great player in Jon Johnson. At number 6, we got Harrison Smith of the Minnesota Vikings. Harrison Smith, he might be getting up there in age, and I know he is kind of old, but Harrison Smith is still one of the best safeties in the NFL. He has some versatility, he can play safety, and along with that, he can sometimes play linebacker, and Harrison Smith is a great ball hawker, and he can stop the run as well. Last year, he had 5 interceptions, and along with that, had 10 passes defended. His defensive help last season was not very good, especially in the secondary. The Minnesota secondary, it was not very good. Next year, I think the Vikings defense will improve, considering the fact that, the young guys should get better naturally as time goes on. They also made some additions, and they will be getting a healthy Danielle Hunter back. Plus, I think they had some opt-outs, so if the Vikings defense can stay healthy, I think they are going to be pretty good next year. And Harrison Smith, he's going to be a massive part of it. And I gotta say, it's awesome, truly awesome seeing him, play at such a high level, for so long. And I really do hope he walks out with the Super Bowl ring, on his finger when his career is all said and done. And Harrison Smith, one of the best safeties in the NFL, to put it simply. Making our way into the top 5, we have Tyreek Matthews of the Kansas City Chiefs. The Chiefs offense, it might be the star of the show in KC, but Tyreek Matthews is an integral part of their team and definitely an integral part of their defense. He is a fantastic ball hawker, and last year he was amazing. In fact, if I'm not wrong, he was an All-Pro last year. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he was an All-Pro last year, and I mean, he was well-deserved. He was fantastic. He's also a great veteran leader to add on with it. I mean, that's one of the reasons why he's so important to the Kansas City Chiefs. He provides good veteran leadership as well, and last season, he had 6 interceptions and 9 passes defended. In Kansas City, they might be the favorites to win it all next year, and they could very well win the Super Bowl again, for the second time in 3 years. And Tyreek Matthews, I think he's going to be a massive part of it if they in fact do win the Super Bowl. At number 4, we have Jamal Adams of the Seattle Seahawks. Now, I know a lot of people hate Jamal Adams, and last year, he was terrible in coverage. He was absolutely terrible in coverage. A straight up liability. However, his ability to stop the run and rush the passer is just amazing, to put it simply, and that's really what lands him here. He set the record for the most sacks by a defensive back, and he missed 4 games. Keep that in mind. I mean, that just speaks to how good he was, stopping the run and rushing the passer, and Seattle used him in so many creative ways. Jamal Adams he was really good overall, despite the fact that he was a liability in coverage, and we all know how good he is when his coverage is good. Last year, I thought he was the best safety in the NFL. Now, obviously, he has dropped down 3 spots, and I mean, due to the fact that his coverage is not very good, and I do think it is kind of, complicated as for why he struggled in coverage last season. In fact, I watched a great video on why he did, so I'll go ahead and link that in the description below. But Jamal Adams, he's still a great player, and last season, he had 3 passes defended, 1 forced fumble, 9.5 sacks, and 11 tackles for a loss. At number 3, we have Jesse Bates of the Cincinnati Bengals. Jesse Bates, I talked about him in a video on 10 of the most underrated players in the NFL. If you guys want to go ahead and check it out, a card should be popping up right about now, so go ahead and check it out after this one. So I'll try and keep this kind of short. Jesse Bates last season had a breakout year, and he was amazing in 2020. He's extremely underrated, and I mean extremely underrated, and in my opinion, he's the best player on the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, soon enough, he could be surpassed by someone like Joe Burrow, but Jesse Bates is the best player on the Bengals right now, and he is an elite coverage safety, and simply put, was fantastic last season. He had 3 interceptions, 15 passes defended, and 1 forced fumble. And our runner-up at number 2 is Justin Simmons. Justin Simmons is a great ball hawker, and he's one of the best safeties in the NFL, and he's really just turned into one of the best safeties in the league. And he got a big payday from the Mile High City, and I mean, it's well deserved. Justin Simmons, you could argue, is the best safety in the NFL. Now, I have him at number 2, and I'll reveal who my number 1 is shortly, but Justin Simmons, he is amazing, and his secondary help last year, it was not very good in Denver. They were dealing with quite a bit of injuries, and with Denver's revamped secondary and, you know, a healthy Von Miller coming back, I think the Broncos defense could be top 5, and Justin Simmons, he's going to be a massive part of their, you know, if they do have a top 5 defense. And last season, he had 5 interceptions and 9 passes defended. And at number 1, we got Minkah Fitzpatrick. Minkah Fitzpatrick, ever since he arrived in the Steel City, he's been amazing, to put it simply. He's a good ball hawker, and along with that, he has a low completion percentage when targeted, and also he has a low pass rating when targeted. Now, it was a toss-up between him and Justin Simmons, but ultimately, I chose him because of his low completion percentage and low pass rating when targeted. They were much lower compared to Justin Simmons, and last season, he had 4 interceptions, 11 passes defended, and 1 forced fumble. Now, I am aware that, you know, his defensive line he has is very good, and that probably does help out the secondary a lot, but that doesn't really change the fact that Minkah Fitzpatrick is an amazing player. And if you have Justin Simmons at 1, I can completely see where you're coming from. But without further ado, that's kind of going to wrap it up for today's video. If you guys enjoyed, hit that like button, as it really helps out the channel, and also make sure to subscribe if you guys are new and you guys enjoy this type of content so you don't miss out on any new videos like this. Plus, we're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, and once we hit our goal, I am finally going to do a face reveal. But with that being said, I'm out, you guys.